Hi everyone, my name is Gautam Gupta and I want to welcome you all to my YouTube channel, Universal Fundamentals. In this video, I'm going to be talking about an important upcoming transit that's coming up, and that is Mars entering the sign of Scorpio from November 16th of 2023 all the way through December 26th, 2023, and how this will affect all of us depending on what our ascendant and moon sign are. And this is an important transit because Mars changes signs approximately every 2 months when it's not retrograde. And whenever a planet changes signs, the energy related to that planet impacts our lives in different ways. And this transit is going to be a bit of a mixed bag because while Mars is very powerful in its own sign of Scorpio, it will be traveling pretty close to the sun. So this means that Mars is still going to be in a state of combustion during this transit. And this can alter some of the positive effects while Mars is in Scorpio. Now, the good news is that Mars and Sun together is usually a good conjunction because they're both friends to each other. It is important, however, that we continue to stay calm and peaceful as this conjunction can get very fiery. Now, before I begin this discussion, I do want to invite everyone to please check out my website, universal-fundamentals.com, where you can learn more about me and what I do as a Vedic astrologer. You can also book a reading with me, and I have also introduced a recorded reading service where if you have specific questions that you need answers to regarding your own personal situation, then this is a great solution for you. I will be leaving the links down below so you all can check that out in more detail. I also want to remind everyone that I do practice sidereal Vedic astrology and not Western tropical astrology. So with that being said, I will now begin discussing how Mars' transit in Scorpio will affect each ascendant and moon sign. So if your ascendant or your moon sign is in Aries, then this means that Mars will be transiting in your 8th house of Scorpio. And while the Sun and Mars travel together in your 8th house, this is going to bring opportunities for you to navigate some of your toughest psychological challenges that you have been dealing with. This will be a time of introspection and self analysis, and you will feel a bit more reserved and introverted during this transit. And it's perfectly fine to embrace this feeling, as this is going to give you valuable insights, which will develop your self discovery and well being. Now, another thing with this Mars and Scorpio transit is that Mars and Saturn will be mutually opposing each other. Mars will be casting its fourth aspect to Saturn, which is transiting in your 11th house, and Saturn will cast its 10th aspect to your 8th house where transiting Mars is. Now, this is going to bring some temporary difficulties and discord around your career and social standing. And during this transit, it is essential that you keep calm and just continue to focus on your daily work routine. Avoid engaging in any petty drama or arguments during this time. Now, with Mars' seventh aspect to your second house, this is going to affect your family and finances. This is a time where you need to watch what you're saying and how you're saying things to others, as there may be greater chances of your communication getting misconstrued. Also, try to avoid any impulse purchases as they may not turn out the way you want or expect. And also, please try to keep a healthy diet during this transit. And with Mars' eighth aspect to your third house, this will affect your well being with any younger siblings you have. They might be going through some personal challenges and changes within their lives, and you can be a great support system for them. Now, if your ascendant or your moon sign is in Taurus, then this means that Mars will be transiting in your seventh house of Scorpio. And while the Sun and Mars travel together in your seventh house, this is going to bring opportunities for you to navigate some of your difficult relationships at this time. If you're married, in a relationship, or even in a business partnership, there can be some control issues that surround your partner, and you will need to address these issues in a diplomatic way. But at the same time, you need to make sure that your needs and boundaries are being respected as well. Now, another thing with this Mars and Scorpio transit is that it will be mutually opposing transiting Saturn at this time. Mars will cast its fourth aspect to transiting Saturn, which is in your 10th house, and transiting Saturn will cast its 10th aspect to transiting Mars, which is in your 7th house. And this will cause some setbacks and delays related to either your career or business. And this is not the best time to expand your business or ask your boss for any favors. but rather it's a time to just focus on your work and keep everything as simple as possible. This will be the best way to utilize this transit. Now, with Mars' seventh aspect to your first house, this is going to make you feel a bit more aggressive than usual. And if you're feeling out of place or out of character, then realize it is okay to retreat and spend some time alone. This will help you navigate transit more calmly. And with Mars' eighth aspect to your second house, this is going to bring some transformation and changes around your family and finances. So please avoid any impulse purchases or saying anything that can be taken out of context. Try to keep your life as simple as possible regarding these issues, and you will be fine. Now, if your ascendant or your moon sign is in Gemini, then this means that Mars will be transiting in your sixth house of Scorpio. And while the Mars and Sun travel together in your sixth house, this is going to bring opportunities for you to navigate and overcome some difficult issues that you may be having with some coworkers. Now, malefics generally do very well in the sixth house, so any obstacles that you're facing in the workplace can be easily overcome. However, since we do have more than one malefic planet transiting in your sixth house, you will have to work extra hard to overcome these challenges. You will have to exercise patience and due diligence, and you cannot be overly aggressive when dealing with any coworker issues. Now, another thing with this Mars and Scorpio transit is that it will be mutually opposing transiting Saturn, which is in your ninth house. Mars is going to cast its fourth aspect to your ninth house, where transiting Saturn is, and transiting Saturn will cast its 10th aspect to your sixth house. And this is a time where you will have to exercise caution and care around your father. He might be going through some temporary issues, and your support can be very valuable for him. Also, if you're taking any higher education courses, then do expect some delays and setbacks in this area. Try to avoid taking new courses at this time as things may not work out just yet. Now, with Mars' seventh aspect to your 12th house, this is going to cause some sleep issues at night. So please do take care of your health during this transit. This is also not the best time to be in crowded places or travel alone at night. Try to keep your life as simple as possible. And with Mars' eighth aspect to your first house, once again, you do need to take care of your physical health. Don't do anything aggressive or out of the ordinary when it comes to your physical body, as this can cause some issues in the future. Once again, just keep things simple. Now, if your ascendant or your moon sign is in Cancer, then this means that Mars will be transiting in your fifth house of Scorpio. And while the Sun and Mars travel together in your fifth house, this is going to really stimulate your mind, and you must be a bit careful because things can turn into overdrive if not handled properly. You may also find that your children will need more of your attention during this transit, and this can be your opportunity to lend a helping hand and support. Also, when it comes to your investments, please be careful not to make any impulsive decisions, as the Mars and Sun transiting your fifth house can cause you to think a bit impulsively. Now, another thing with this Mars and Scorpio transit is that it will be mutually aspecting transiting Saturn, which is in your eighth house. Mars will be casting its fourth aspect to transiting Saturn, and transiting Saturn will be casting its 10th aspect to your transiting Mars. So this further kind of tells me that you really do need to exercise caution when it comes to your speculative investments and children. Also, please be careful when driving and when doing any physical activities, as you might be a bit accident prone. Just try to exercise caution and you'll be fine. Now, with Mars' seventh aspect to your 11th house, this is going to give you an opportunity to resolve any conflicts that you've been having with an older sibling, friend, or even issues with the group or organization that you're involved in. There may be some underlying tension going on, and both parties need to address these issues before they can effectively move forward. Now, with Mars' eighth aspect to your 12th house, this is going to cause some sleep issues at night for you, so please take care of your physical health during this time. Also, just as a precaution, make sure you secure your belongings and valuables during this transit. Now, if your ascendant or your moon sign is in Leo, then this means that Mars will be transiting in your fourth house of Scorpio. And while the Sun and Mars travel together in your fourth house, this is going to give you an opportunity to resolve any issues that you've been having with your mother or any issues that you have with your fixed assets. Since Mars is combust right now, real estate matters may not work out in your favor just yet. So it is important to just be patient. This is not the best time to purchase any new fixed assets, but rather a time to make sure your existing assets are properly maintained. Now, another thing with this Mars and Scorpio transit is that it will be mutually aspecting transiting Saturn in your seventh house. Mars will be casting its fourth aspect to transiting Saturn, and transiting Saturn will cast its 10th aspect to your transiting Mars. Now, if you're married or in a serious relationship, then this can cause some friction between your spouse, significant other, and your mother. There can be some disagreements between them, and it is best not to get overly involved in this matter. Try to wait until Mars leaves the sign of Scorpio for resolving any conflicts during this time if both parties cannot reach a resolution. This is also a time where your mother needs to take care of her health. Now, with Mars' fourth aspect to your 10th house, this is going to give you an opportunity to resolve any issues related to your career. You have to be diplomatic and tactful because this aspect can cause you to take some impulsive actions that may not be favorable. So just be careful with that and you should be fine. And with Mars' eighth aspect to your 11th house, you may find that an older sibling or friend is going through some transformative experiences in which they can use your guidance and support. This can also mean that if you're involved in some sort of large group or organization, then your role and position will also go through some changes. Now, if your ascendant or your moon sign is in Virgo, then this means that Mars will be transiting in your third house of Scorpio. And while the Mars and Sun travel together in your third house, this is going to cause some issues around a younger sibling, and you will have an opportunity to try and resolve these issues. There can be some arguments or discord around your younger sibling, so it is important to keep an eye on that. This can also be that perhaps your younger sibling is going through some difficult challenges, and you can be a great support system for them. Now, with this Mars and Scorpio transit, it will also be mutually aspecting transiting Saturn, which is in your sixth house. And this is going to be a time where you do need to take care of your physical health and avoid any aggressive physical activities. This can also aggravate some of the issues that you're having with the younger sibling, so it is important to exercise caution. Now, with Mars' seventh aspect to your ninth house, there can be some issues that your father is going through. He might be having some health issues or other personal struggles, and he can really benefit from your support. If that is not the case, then there could be some disagreements lurking around, so it is important to keep an open mind and stay calm. If you are on any higher education courses, there can be some difficulties, so it is important to stay the course as this difficulty is only temporary. Now, with Mars' eighth aspect to your 10th house, there can be some changes around your career situation. So it is important to assess the situation calmly and rationally so you can make the right decision. Now, if your ascendant or your moon sign is in Libra, then this means that Mars will be transiting in your second house of Scorpio. And while the Sun and Mars travel together in your second house, this is going to cause some temporary issues around your family, finances, and speech. Please be careful with what you're saying to others and how you're saying these words to others, as there are chances of coming across aggressive and having your message being misconstrued. This is a time to conserve your money, so please avoid making any major impulse purchases at this time. Now, with this Mars and Scorpio transit, it will be mutually aspecting transiting Saturn, which is in your fifth house. And this is going to be a time where you need to exercise caution around your investments and children. Your children can be a bit aggressive during this transit. They are kind of acting out of character from their normal behavior. So this is your opportunity for you to step in and help. Try to listen to your children's point of view so that you can be of better help. Also, try to keep your investments safe and conservative and don't make any major investments at this time. Try to wait until Mars enters the sign of Sagittarius before making any major investment decisions. Now, with Mars' seventh aspect to your eighth house, this can cause some issues around your in-laws and joint assets. Try not to make any major changes around your joint assets as there can be some disagreements lurking around. Also, your in-laws might be going through some changes or there could be some disagreements with them. So please try to address those issues as tactfully as possible. And please be careful with driving or doing any physical activities during this time. Just try to keep your life as simple as possible. Now, with Mars' eighth aspect to your ninth house, this tells me that your father might be going through some changes and transformations, and he might need your help at this time. Also, try to avoid any major arguments or disputes with your father and teachers, as things may not work out in your favor. And you may also have to pay extra attention to any of the higher education courses you might be taking at this time. Now, if your ascendant or your moon sign is in Scorpio, then this means that Mars will be transiting in your first house of Scorpio. And while the Mars and Sun travel together in your first house, this is going to make you very bold and assertive during this time. However, it is important that you don't get overly aggressive as you can be prone to anger. Try to stay calm while setting your boundaries and communicating your thoughts to others. This is also a great time to take care of your health and get physically active during this time. Now, with this Mars and Scorpio transit, it will be mutually aspecting transiting Saturn, which is in your fourth house. And this may cause some friction or disagreements with the mother. This can also mean that your mom might be going through some personal challenges and she can really use your attention and support. Also, try to avoid dealing with real estate or fixed asset matters during this transit, as there can be some temporary difficulties or setbacks. It is best to wait until Mars enters the sign of Sagittarius before doing anything major with your real estate fixed assets. Now, with Mars' seventh aspect to your seventh house, this is going to cause some temporary issues around relationships with business partners, significant others, or spouse if you're married. There might be some control issues going on, and it is important that you don't become too dominating, as this can make things worse. Try to see things from a neutral perspective, and things will work out just fine. And with Mars' eighth aspect to your eighth house, there can be some issues that your in laws might be going through, and they can actually really use your support at this time. Also, be careful when driving, as you can be a bit accident prone, and try to avoid handling joint assets or combining finances at this time, as you both may not be on the same page for now. Now, if your ascendant or your moon sign is in Sagittarius, then this means that Mars will be transiting in your 12th house of Scorpio. And while the Sun and Mars travel together in your 12th house, this is going to be a time where you really need to make sure you secure your belongings and valuables. This is also not the best time to do foreign traveling, and if possible, please avoid dark and unknown places, especially during the night. You may also find that your sleep is disturbed during this transit, so please take care of your health this time. Now, with this Mars and Scorpio transit, it will be mutually aspecting transiting Saturn, which is in your third house. And this is going to bring out some issues with the younger sibling. There can be some disagreements or underlying tension surrounding them, or it can simply mean that they need your attention at this time. And you can be a great support system to them. But whatever the case may be, there is going to be some disruption around a younger sibling, which you'll just have to get through. Now, with Mars' seventh aspect to your sixth house, this is going to temporarily cause some disruption around coworkers. So please be careful when addressing any sensitive issues. Also, take care of your health during this time and make sure you're getting enough rest. And finally, with Mars' eighth aspect to your seventh house, this tells me that your relationships might be going through some transformations and changes. This can be either with your business partners, spouse, or significant other, depending on your relationship status. This transformation will give you a better understanding as to how to navigate your relationships in the future. Now, if your ascendant or your moon sign is in Capricorn, then this means that Mars will be transiting in your 11th house of Scorpio. And while the Sun and Mars travel together in your 11th house, this is going to bring out some issues that you've been having with some friends, an older sibling, or even a group or organization that you're involved with. There can be some heated discussions or arguments going on, and you need to be as calm and diplomatic as possible when trying to resolve these issues. On the upside, this transit is going to give you a lot of drive and ambition to get things done, as malefics do very well in the 11th house. But you do need to pace yourself since Mars will be combust this whole transit. Now, with this Mars and Scorpio transit, it will be mutually aspecting your transiting Saturn, which is in your second house. And this may cause some issues around your finances and family life, as they will require a bit more attention. There can be some delays or setbacks regarding some income stream, and you will just need to exercise patience during this transit. Now, with Mars' seventh aspect to your fifth house, this tells me that your children will be needing your attention at this time. They can be a bit disobedient, or they're just simply acting out because there is a hidden message behind their actions, which indicates that they really need your help. And you can be a great support system for them. Also, please be careful around speculative investments and try not to be impulsive at this time. And with Mars' eighth aspect to your sixth house, this tells me that your health and relationship with some of your coworkers might be going through some transformations at this time. And this is going to give you some valuable lessons for the future. Now, if your ascendant or your moon sign is in Aquarius, then this means that transiting Mars will be in your 10th house of Scorpio. And while the Sun and Mars travel together in your 10th house, this is going to give you a really great social standing in your workplace and career. You will have the drive, ambition, and motivation to get things done, and you may even get a lot of recognition during this time. However, since Mars is combust during this transit, you do have to be extremely careful as to how you're coming across to other people in your workplace, as any negative actions can actually backfire on you. Now, with this Mars and Scorpio transit, it will be mutually aspecting transiting Saturn, which is in your first house. And this is going to be a time when you do need to take care of your physical health, as you can be a bit prone to sickness. So just make sure you're engaging in daily activities that are healthy and conducive to your body's well-being. Now, with Mars' seventh aspect to your fourth house, there can be some issues going around your mother or any fixed assets you have. So these areas will require a bit of your attention and care. Also, try to avoid any property disputes or arguments with your mother, as they may not be conducive to your well-being at this time. And with Mars' eighth aspect to your fifth house, this tells me that your children can be going through some personal changes and transformations within their own lives, and they can really use your support. Also, this is not the best time to be overly aggressive with your investments, but rather a time to be careful and cautious. Now, if your ascendant or your moon sign is in Pisces, then this means that Mars will be transiting in your ninth house of Scorpio. And while the Mars and Sun travel together in your ninth house, this is going to cause some friction around your father or any teachers in which you're taking a higher education course. This is not the best time to engage in any arguments or disputes, as things may not be working out in your favor at this time. This can also mean that your father is going through some difficult challenges, and he can really use your support during this time. There can be some temporary challenges in your higher education courses. However, don't worry about this because, like I said, it's only temporary. Now, with this Mars and Scorpio transit, it will be mutually aspecting Saturn, which is in your 12th house. And this is going to cause some sleep issues during the night. So it is important that you get the proper rest, take care of your body during this transit. You may also be reflecting on how things from your past quite a bit. So be careful not to get overly attached to some of your past events. Now, with Mars' seventh aspect to your third house, this is going to cause some issues around a younger sibling. They might be going through some personal challenges, and you could be a good support system to them. There can also be some fights and disagreements between you guys, so it is important to keep an open mind and listen to each other's point of view. And lastly, with Mars' eighth aspect to your fourth house, this can indicate that your mother is also going through some personal challenges and transformations, and she can really benefit from your support. Also, this is not the best time to purchase any new fixed assets, but rather a time to maintain your current fixed assets in the best possible way. So this is what I wanted to cover regarding Mars's transit into Scorpio that is coming up on November 16th of this year, all the way through December 26th for all 12 ascendants and moon signs. I hope you guys got something out of this. And if you found this video to be useful, then please give it a thumbs up by hitting the like button. Doing so will really help me out with the YouTube algorithm so this video can reach a vast audience. Also, if you're new to my channel and would like to see similar videos like this in the future, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and click on that bell notification. And if you would like to know more about me and what I do as a Vedic astrologer, then please check out my website, universal-fundamentals.com. Thank you so much, everybody, and I will see you all in the next video. Take care.